Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in the comments from where you're watching this video. The noise of that chair dragging across the floor still squeezes my chest tight, even after all these years. That evening was nothing out of the ordinary. Just one more ordinary Tuesday in the home where I discovered that being kind equaled being weak. I was 25, staying with my parents only because I was jobless after my employer laid off staff. My sister Mia remained the favorite, a 21-year-old storm of fragrance, demands, and chaos I had to tidy up. I just wrapped up my virtual job interview, my sole shot at regaining some security. My laptop remained open on the kitchen table when her shout rang out from upstairs. "Clara, my room's a disaster. Come tidy it before Mom returns." I let out a sigh. "It's your space, Mia. Handle it yourself." Her heels pounded down the stairs like a ruler whose aide had dared to challenge her. "You believe you're above helping family now," she mocked. "You lounge here all day faking work." Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. "I am working," I replied, holding my tone steady, or attempting to. Her eyes gleamed like she'd uncovered prime ammunition against me. "Sure you are. Faking it as usual. That's why they let you go." Before I could reply, the front door burst open. Mom's voice sliced through the house like a blade. "Why is Mia's room still a mess?" "Clara, what did I instruct?" I rose gradually, my gut churning. "Mom, I was on a call." I informed Mia she ought to manage it. Mom's gaze hardened. "So now you imagine you can issue commands?" Mia lingered behind her, grinning slyly. "I told her, Mom." She refused. Mom's palm struck the chairs back at the table. "You ungrateful brat. You live under this roof. You follow the rules." "I'm not your maid," I murmured softly. The quiet that ensued was razor-sharp and threatening. Then, with an abrupt yank, she shoved the chair ahead. The wood's edge crashed into my back, the noise reverberating through the kitchen. I gasped, staggering against the counter. Agony raced up my spine like flames. My breath hitched as everything blurred. Pain instructs quicker than words. Dad's voice boomed from behind me. He'd witnessed it all, lounging in his recliner, observing. "You'll recall this next time before speaking up." Mia laughed as if it were prime family amusement. Tears burned my eyes, but I held them back. I straightened myself gradually, clutching the table. "You didn't need to." Mom interrupted me. "Don't argue after your actions. Go tidy that room." I gazed at her, truly gazed at her. The woman who'd once prepared my lunches, who'd braided my hair before school, now faced me like an unfamiliar person who relished seeing me shatter. "I can't believe you," I breathed. "Believe it," she snapped. "You entered the world with nothing but attitude. You ought to be grateful we allow you to stay." My back pulsed with each beat of my heart. I longed to yell, to flee, to vanish. Instead, I headed to my room, closed the door, and crumpled to the floor. Through the flimsy walls, I heard them chuckling, Mom, Dad, and Mia, as though wounding me was a household gag they'd recount at supper. That evening, I held an ice pack to the welt rising on my spine and fixed my stare on the ceiling. The house groaned like it was murmuring echoes of every instance I'd been deemed insufficient. But this time a change stirred. Perhaps it was the ache. Perhaps it was the shame. Or perhaps it was the instant I grasped that nobody would rescue me. Not even me, unless I at last rose up. The following morning, I smiled when Mom called for breakfast. I prepared their eggs, served their coffee, stayed mute when Mia griped her shirt wasn't pressed. But deep down, something blazed because I'd reached a choice that night, one they'd never anticipate. The welt on my back had deepened to purple by dawn, spreading like spilled ink. Each motion sent pain surging up my spine, but I smiled regardless. The sort of smile concealing something perilous beneath. Mom figured she'd imparted a lesson. She whistled over breakfast prep, humming as if nothing occurred, while Dad read his paper and Mia browsed her phone, still smirking. "Morning," I said gently as I stepped into the kitchen. Mom glanced back, startled by my serene voice. "Morning? That's fresh. You finally grasped respect." I mustered a faint chuckle. "Guess pain truly instructs quicker, huh?" She beamed, pleased with herself, as if damaging her daughter's back was a triumph. "Good. Perhaps he'll finally prove useful here. I poured coffee, my hand quivering just a bit. Not from dread, from restraint. I resolved that if this home craved me shattered, I'd let them assume I was, but solely until I devised how to make them taste what I'd endured for years. By midday, Mia had created her typical disorder. Makeup streaked over the bathroom sink, garments flung about. "Ciel," she yelled. "Fetch my sweater." I entered her room and halted. My bedsheet lay on her floor, muddied. "Why did you grab my sheet?" She shrugged. "The dog vomited on mine." "The dog?" Mia smirked. "Don't start bawling. It's merely a sheet." I required it more. Before I could answer, Mom's voice pierced the hall. "Clara, you're meant to be cleaning." I gritted my teeth. "You mean Mia's room?" "Of course Mia's room," she barked. "She has more pressing matters." I yearned to shout I wasn't her maid, but I held back. I required time, endurance, traits I'd rarely possessed. That evening, I lay in my bed, my back against the chilly wall. I eavesdropped as they giggled in the living room about me, about my drama, about how useless folks need nudges. I bit my lip till blood flavored it, murmuring to myself, this won't last. The next morning, I rose before anyone. For the first time in years, I approached Dad's shed, the one he always barred me from. It reeked of fuel and corrosion, packed with damaged tools. I located what I sought, a compact lockbox. Within lay extra house keys, outdated bills, and his crisis contact sheets, the ones they'd employ if anything befell him or Mom. And right there, a folder marked family insurance. I halted. They'd always claimed they couldn't cover my schooling, my rent, or even proper meals. But there it lay, evidence of a policy in my name. They'd exploited my details for dependent perks, pocketing state aid. I never glimpsed a penny of it. So the cause they tolerated me wasn't kinship. It was cash. That instant, something within me snapped permanently. Later that afternoon, Mom passed me a broom. "Sweep the porch before supper." I accepted it wordlessly. Sure thing. But outside, I wasn't brushing. I was phoning. "Hello, this is the Department of Social Affairs," I stated, voice firm. "I believe there's abuse of dependent benefits in my name." The lady on the line posed a few queries. I supplied every fact, their complete names, ID numbers, even the forged job forms from the box. Then she uttered the phrases that quickened my pulse. "Thank you. We'll launch an investigation right away." That evening, as Mom and Dad dined, I sat opposite, quiet but smiling. Dad glanced up. "What's behind that grin?" "Nothing," I replied. "Just learning quicker." They chuckled, deeming it mockery. They didn't know it was fact. 2 days on, the initial call arrived. Dad picked up, tone relaxed. "Yes, this is Thomas Wells." "Wait, what? Investigation?" His complexion whitened. "That's impossible. There must be an error." Mom peered up from her phone, her fork dropping. "What's the matter?" Dad's eyes flicked to me. "They claim someone reported us for benefits fraud. They're reviewing our accounts." Mom's face lost all color. Who would do such a thing? I sipped water, locking eyes with her in the calmest smile I'd ever worn. Maybe pain truly instructs quicker. The hush over the table grew dense enough to suffocate. Mia appeared baffled. Dad's hand shook. And Mom, the woman who'd once chuckled as I wept on the floor, couldn't utter a word. I rose gradually, the welt on my back still faintly throbbing. "Dinner was nice," I said softly. "Savor it while you can." Their stares tracked me, but none dared halt me. That evening, as I packed my belongings, I comprehended something fearsome and lovely. Revenge didn't always involve shouting or torching things or demolishing what harmed you. Sometimes it was quiet. Sometimes it was merely departing, letting them confront what they'd constructed. I sealed my bag, eyed the mirror, and murmured, "You endured it, Clara. Now make them recall it." The investigation required under 2 weeks to dismantle their world. State examiners, calls, locked accounts. It all collapsed like a structure on falsehoods. The day it went public, Mom's shrieks rang through the house like alarms. I wasn't present to witness, naturally. By then, I'd settled in a tiny downtown apartment. 1 bedroom, flawed walls, and tranquility. That morning, I was working when my phone buzzed repeatedly. When I last viewed it, the initial text was from Mia. What did you do? They're forfeiting everything. Dad's panicking. Mom says they might face prison. I gazed at the screen a long while before typing. Maybe pain instructs quicker. Then I silenced my phone. That evening, as the sun dipped behind structures, I headed to a modest cafe by the river. It was the sort always scented with cinnamon and espresso, serene enough for thoughts to surface. I settled by the window, ordered coffee, and at last allowed myself to inhale. For years, each breath in that home had been terror. Now it was liberty. The following week, a rap sounded at my apartment door. I stiffened, peering through the peephole. Mom and Dad. Mom's face was ashen, makeup smudged from tears. Dad appeared aged, diminished, like existence had creased him. I cracked the door halfway. What do you want? Mom wrung her hands. We've lost it all, Clara. The accounts, the car, even the house may go. Please just explain it was a mix-up. You can resolve this. Dad's voice broke. We aired, but you're our daughter. I nearly laughed. Your daughter? You turned me into your target, your servant, your documents. You recalled I was family only when it suited you. Mom's lip quivered. Please, honey, we're pleading. That word pleading nearly rang sweet. Pleading, I echoed gently. That's what I did when you struck me. When you observed Dad declare pain would instruct me. When you rammed a chair into my back and laughed. Dad advanced. We didn't intend it. I met his gaze. The man who'd once grinned while I sobbed. You intended every instant. He parted his lips again, but I lifted a hand. You said pain instructs quicker, so absorb it. Absorb what it's like when nobody hears. Mom's knees gave way. Clara, please. We have nowhere left. I regarded them a long beat. Then I eased the door shut till the lock clicked. No shouts, no cries, just quiet. Through the door, I heard her weeping. The same woman who'd once insisted I be grateful for a roof now sobbed in the hall, shelterless and frantic. I went to my kitchen, brewed tea, and sat by the window below. The city lights twinkled, vibrant, unconcerned, unbound. A gentle tap came again. I stayed put. I just murmured to myself, pain instructs quicker. And for the first time, those words didn't wound. They felt like calm. Weeks on, I learned via a neighbor of theirs they'd relocated to a shabby motel on town's fringe. The irony escaped me not. The same folks who deemed me unworthy of ease now rested on soiled linens, battling for heat. I didn't call. I didn't crow. I didn't require to because the finest revenge wasn't their penalty. It was my apathy. One evening viewing the sunset from my apartment balcony, I sensed a sharp twinge in my back, the exact spot the chair struck years prior. For a moment, it stung anew. Then it ebbed. That pain once evoked them. Now it evoked my survival of them. And as the sun vanished, I whispered to the dimming glow. I hope you absorbed it swiftly enough. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.